Guys, we're back again. We're coming down to the end, the final wire here, but the show's still going, still got people walking around. It's very exciting. It's always been exciting since this thing got started on Friday. Right now, we got two guests on, dynamite guests. If you like fishing from a boat, these are the guys. I got Captain Steve and Captain Mike. He's got his harpoon ready. Do not get him angry. I like my lenses. They look very nice right now. Other than that, we're here to talk a little bit about fishing. Closer, honey. How's that? Better? We're here to talk a little bit about fishing, and let's say hi to Captain Steve first. How you doing, Steve?
Good. How are you?
Great, man.
Glad to be here.
Having a good time at the show?
Yeah. It's actually a good show. I mean, the vendor seemed to be a little less when we first walked in, but everything seemed to be fine, and people wanted to get out.
The crowd.
Yeah.
The crowd came out with gangbusters, and they had lines right down the street.
It's a beautiful thing.
It was wonderful. I would rather have less vendors and more customers to shop.
Of course, you should have been at the MSA show. We didn't have enough vendors there. The place was packed.
I hear that all the time. You should have been at the spot yesterday. We caught all these tuna. You should have been there. And then we sit there all day.
Right?
And then nothing happens.
If you're not there at that moment, right, I get it. All right, so let's talk about a little bit about your charter fishing here. How does this work? What kind of charter fishing? What are you going after? What's going on?
So we're Skurge of the Sea. We're actually a brand. We're a manufacturer of high-end end game equipment. We're very innovative because we fish as well as design and create the products that we present. So we do innovative. We create innovative new twists to old ideas.
That's pretty cool. That's how things. Go ahead.
A lot of research and development is done through the charters and going out and doing the fishing. It's like, hey, this could work better if, and that's how things.
We're fishermen first and foremost.
Yeah.
So when through the years, Steve and I have been together for a long time. Through the years, when we've done charters and our own recreational fishing, we've broken high-end gear that was supposed to be the best gear over and over again. And finally, we were looking at each other and said, you know what? Why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? And he said, why don't you do it? I said, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So
it worked out.
So I see you're holding a harpoon here now. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Harpoons have been around forever. It's one of the most effective end game, meaning end the game with any fight with a large pelagic like a giant tuna or a mako shark, and now thresher because mako's illegal. So a harpoon, all it is a stick, a bone, a sharp bone, and a piece of twine back in the day. So people make their own. They would make them out of galvanized pipe. They would make them with a steel head, so they're weighted, and different developments came through. And I said, you know what? Let's make a solid aluminum harpoon. It's two-piece. They screw together. It's solid aluminum, so it's evenly weighted. Now it throws straight like a spear. Most head-weighted harpoons dive. All right. People get used to that. They learn that they dive, so they compensate. I said, why are we compensating for a failure in the design? So we make it evenly weighted all the way through. Second upgrade is a lot of folks put the retrieval shackle on the end. They'll put an eye bolt on the end to retrieve the harpoon. We actually put it 14 inches up.
Can I ask the question why?
Because we put a gimbal on the end so you can put it into the rod holder. So here comes the tuna. It's coming close. You're going into the end game. Just boom, you stick it right in the rod holder. It's solid. When you need it, you pick it up, boom,
That's a good idea, buddy.
So just to clarify,
I get it.
catching and bringing the fish in on a rod and reel is the first half of the game.
Of course.
What Mike refers to as the end game is getting that fish in the boat.
It's the hardest
You
part
have
of the
to
game.
get it under control.
On YouTube, I see these guys trying to get these big fish.
Right. I mean, and that's what you need. You need the equipment to be able to handle that fish and be safe about it.
So the second change we made is Captain Steve is holding this is a classic bronze lily. It's hundreds of years old. They've been using it since the beginning of harpoons. That's a classic design.
So what is this? Explain to me, because me not being a boat fisherman, I'm trying to slowly get into it. I'm obviously meeting you guys. I will be on your boat. That's a guarantee with my wife. What is it for exactly?
So it works the same way as the penetrator. The penetrator is a custom build. However, you put this on the end of the spear. and you'll end up
Oh, I get it now.
penetrating into the fish or the shark or whatever you want to take of size. It'll go in, it goes through the fish like this, comes off of the harpoon, and then when you pull it, because the line's in the center,
I get it.
you pull it through, it won't go through the hole it made.
We call that a buttonhole.
Why do you do that and not just use the harpoon? Can you
So,
tell me
because
why?
the harpoon's not a spear.
Right.
If it was a spear, it would have a fixed head where the head stayed on.
Yes.
You'd throw it, it would have a barb. You'd throw it into the animal, and it would stop, and then you leave it.
I see.
The harpoon is only a delivery system for the dart. So the handle comes back. You hit the fish, drive it in. As it goes through, it catches some meat, pops off, turns sideways. You leave the dart in the fish, pull your handle back, stow it.
Now you're just fighting the fish on the line.
That goes to 100,
Having a rod
Right.
going like that.
Yep.
It goes to like 100 or 150 feet, depending on your preference of line in a basket and a poly ball. If it takes the poly ball out, then you got another aspect of the fight. You have to chase it down. We
You
clip
can just let it go.
We clip it to a spare 50. Like a spare 50, we'll put a swivel, clip it right to the basket. So if it does take the basket, we can reel that in too.
Right.
But the harpoon's only a safety line. It's only attached to the fish as a second line of defense. You're still fighting it on the rod and reel. Rod and reels, sometimes the line breaks.
Yeah.
Now you're only on the dart line.
Yeah.
Now you got to be a little more careful because you don't want to put too much pressure on the fish. The fish is bleeding at this point and it's dying.
Yes.
Let it slow down. Don't let it die completely if you can. Try to get to the boat because when they stop swimming, they sink. So now you're trying to pull the fish up without pulling the dart out.
Right.
Once the dart turns sideways, and the reason we came up with a innovative new dart instead of using the bronze dart, we use this penetrator because this penetrates easier, faster, and deeper, and punches right through the other side
Effortlessly.
of hard gill plates and hard shark skin.
Right.
Turns sideways, you can't pull that out with a tow truck. Okay?
I want to say something. So anybody out there watching right now who owns a boat, who does their tuna fishing, big fish fishing, you know more than I do of what he's talking about right now. To me, not even being a fisherman on the boat, I'm hearing these ideas and I'm like, hey, that's pretty good, especially when he told me about the rod. It's balanced, guys. So when you're holding it, it's not going to start tilting on you. And like the gentleman said, like Mike said, Captain Mike, he said that, a lot of guys have been used to that heaviness in the front, so they compensate for that. You won't be doing any compensating. The only thing you're going to be concentrating on is throwing it. That's a beautiful thing. I like that idea. Like I said, I'm not an experienced guy, but hearing it, it's only natural what you're talking about.
There's one more little trick that I put on my harpoons that you're not going to see on anybody else's. Which camera am I showing? I put a bottle opener on it.
Oh yeah, man. There it is, guys. This is the sale right now, right here, right now. Excellent. I love it.
I'm just kidding.
Oh,
It doesn't open the bottom.
It does open the bottle.
So what it is I don't want to put a whole bunch of tape on this line to hold it to here because I don't want to retain this dart in any way.
Okay.
So we rig on a double elastic band.
Yep.
It stretches down off your dart, hooks to this little notch right here. Now,
The beer bottle.
Yep.
you throw the thing, it misses, you hit the fish, it goes in, pops off, snaps,
That's it. And that's
breaks
the
the
line
elastic band.
Yep.
Now you're off to the races.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I can't wait to get off to the races, right, honey? You heard me, right? We're going, we're coming.
Excellent.
Anything else you
You're
want
welcome.
to say? Your charters, anything like that? How do people go about getting to you?
You can contact Skurge of the Sea, 860-625-0161.
You heard that? 860
625
625
0161
41
0161
0161.
or scourgeofthesea.com, scourgeofthesea@gmail.com.
You heard it, guys. It's right here.
Just Google
If
Skurge.
you can't see a shirt, there's something wrong with my lens, and I got the best lenses. Guys, I thank you so much. Anything else before I let you go?
How did you like the show?
I loved it. I loved the show.
Good.
I loved the show.
One more question.
Yeah.
Who's the first person that took you fishing? Who taught you how to fish?
My dad didn't really teach me, but he took me. And
But he took you to someone that taught you.
Yes, right. 24 times. I went out with my father over half a dozen times as a kid growing up. He knew nothing about fishing. I was always mentioning, Dad, I want to go fishing, I want to go fishing. My mom poked him, made him take me. He bought a boat pole, basically a conventional rod. And back in those days, in the early 70s, late 60s, if you didn't have that touch of the finger, man, you cannot cast correctly. So what was happening? Cast after cast.
Backlash.
Birds. My father was very strict. He used to sit around and say, go sit on that rock and watch me fish. And I'm like, all right, Dad. And I go sit on the rock and I'd be watching him fish. All of a sudden, he's out there, he's fixing the line, fixing. I'm waiting patiently. I was taught never to talk, let him do what he's doing. But after the third time, he got it up and going. The birds, the squirrel nest, whatever. I went up to him, I'm like, Dad, are we going to catch a fish? And he goes, go sit on that rock over there.
Sounds like fun.
He's the one who made me go out there. In my later years, I used to bring a bunch of fish home at the time. And how are you catching these fish? And I remember now, my dad's 96. 2 years ago, I bought a striped bass home. The fish had swallowed the hook. I do not throw out fish to die. I bought it home. My mother was cleaning, and I watched him walk up to her with the cane, and he goes to her, you see? I taught him how to fish. There you go. Dads are the best. He got me into fishing, and this is where I'm at.
Same here.
Excellent.
Same here, my dad.
No doubt about it. Anything else?
Thank you.
Guess not. Steve,
No,
thank you so
thanks
much
again.
for coming to my show. Mike, Captain Mike, thank you.
If you want
your products.
to hunt and catch and possibly tag or kill the biggest fish you've ever seen in your life, call me.
You heard that, right? I hope I'm not going to be the only guy calling here. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much, guys. That was really nice. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Best of luck to you in the future, and I will be seeing you in that future. That's a guarantee.
All right.
And you guys are out of New England again? You said?
Norwich, Connecticut.
No?
Connecticut.
Oh, even closer, man.
Where are you
Very
from?
soon. I'm in New York, so I fish a lot in one of the rivers there. I don't want to mention it. Are we offline? Goodbye, everybody.
Have a good one.
He doesn't want to mention it. Oh,
Sorry.
I'll call you later with the
Yeah,
numbers.
there you go.